Have you ever had a story floating around in your head for months, or maybe even years, but every time you sit down to write it, nothing comes out? Yeah, me too. I'm Glenn, fantasy author and creative writing wizard, and this is Glenn Encouragement. Here we talk about the stuff behind the writing, the mindset, the method, and the magic that helps you actually finish the stories you've been dreaming about. In today's episode, I'm talking about a simple little trick that helped me go from years of blank pages to actually finishing stories, and it starts with Lego, sort of. Let's get into it. It's frustrating, isn't it? That blank page just stares back at you like it's waiting for some kind of magic. Well, what if I told you there's a simple trick that could help you finally get that story out of your head and onto the page? I want to share something today that's made a huge difference in my writing life. It's something I use all the time, whether I'm working on flash fiction, a short story, or a full-blown novel. So picture this, a finished story, the one that lives in your imagination. Now imagine trying to build that from scratch, starting with nothing but an empty page. It can feel overwhelming. Here's where the trick comes in. Think of your story like building with Lego. You don't start with the entire castle or spaceship or whatever world you're building. You start with one brick. In terms of writing, it's one sentence, the hook. Maybe you're the kind of writer who just likes to dive in, what people call a pantser, or writing by the seat of your pants, and that's awesome. But if you're like me, someone who likes a bit of structure before diving into the chaos, here's what I do. I start with one sentence that captures the heart of the story, just one. And then I add 3 more ideas that build on that sentence. These tend to be the major plot points, moments I know I want to include, beats that matter. From there I keep going, adding more layers if I need to. 3 smaller points under each of the big ones, and then maybe 3 under those, which become chapters, and then again 3 under those, which can become scenes. You might know this as the Snowflake Method. There's a whole post on my site about it if you want to go deeper. The core idea is simple. Start small, expand as you go, with a few bullet points at a time. Let's take a story that may be familiar to my fellow writers, The Lord of the Rings. You could boil that whole story down into one sentence. An unsuspecting hero travels to save the land by defeating a Dark Lord. Then break it into 3 major chunks. 1. He leaves his peaceful life behind and begins the quest. 2. Things fall apart, the group splits, and it almost fails. 3. He makes it into the enemy's stronghold and destroys the Dark Lord's power. It's obviously way more complicated in the actual story, but starting with just a few building blocks makes the whole thing feel doable. And once you've got those in place, you can add as much detail as you want. Before I started using this method, I struggled. I had half-started stories and blank pages that went nowhere. And many times along the way, I gave up because I felt like I couldn't do it. But now, I've written and published multiple stories, and even finished a full-length novel draft in a few months. This approach unlocked something in me, and maybe it'll do the same for you. So if you're listening and wondering where to start, or thinking if you'll ever finish the story that's been nudging your brain, know this. You can do this. You have something to say, and I truly believe there are people out there who need to hear it. Your experiences, your imagination, your voice. Those things matter. Writing can be hard, but you don't have to do it alone. If you want to learn from what I found helpful to make your writing journey a little easier, or just someone to encourage you along the way, I'm here. Follow along and listen as you walk out your writing journey. Most importantly, keep writing and stay creative.